Ai. Hey guys, welcome to Executive Espresso. It is great to see you guys here today. And today we're going to be talking about the psychology of uncovering hidden talent, whether that is talent across the street, across the boardroom table, across the dining room table, or on the other side of that mirror that you're looking into. And today we have a wonderful young man who you've seen around on X that does some great work in ratings and surveys, how to recognize excellence. I think that we live in a society that really needs to do a better job of recognizing excellence, and especially if it's excellence that you live with or you work with. So, welcome to Executive Espresso. This is your 18 minutes, a double shot of bold business breakthroughs, mental mechanics, and hopefully some clarity fueled by the conversation today. We're going to be talking about how rating the world, and yes, this young man is leading the charge in rating the world. If you can follow it, if you can think it, if you can buy it, if you can subscribe to it, he's your guy. The surprising science behind some curiosity driven communities. We're going to talk about that, about how discovery beats virility, and how that matches and meshes with long term success. And we're going to leave you with a brain reset affirmation to rate yourself in all the healthiest ways and those things that you care about. So I'm going to get him up on stage here. It's good to see you here, my friend. Overall, welcome to the
Oh,
broadcast today. Thank you for being here.
hello, doctor. Thank you for having me, and it's nice to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's good to see you too. So, how did you get into this thing of ratings? I find that fascinating. That if you go to Overall's profile, you can see that he has some instructions on how to rate things. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, first thing, overall is not about rating. It's just a way to have fun, really. Um, we like to sometimes organize things like awards and other fun activities. So this community that I opened was really just to give people the opportunity to connect and to share things. The, the ratings is just an excuse. If you want really to show the world your passion, no, you just give an enormous rating about what are you passionate about. So it's just a tool to have fun, to connect, to share, and to be yourself, really. And sometimes you like to compare, right? And sometimes I mention milestones, which are great achievements from artists that I recognize and publish on my profile. And those sort of milestones are the way that I use to um, create comparisons and rate stuff. So yeah, I'm just having fun with it. Really, everybody are welcome to rate whatever they have in mind
Yeah, yeah.
and to share.
Give us some examples of things that are being rated on your account there, and maybe some instructions on how people can join in with that.
Yeah, well, for example, I always rate art in general. So if usually there are many digital artists on X, so usually I publish that, but that's not by preference. But I like to share those works only because are a great source of inspiration, and people can recognize it and identify with it, just appreciate it. That's all, really.
I think it's such a great idea because there's so many things being created in the world today. Not all of them have equal value. Some have very little value, to be honest. and some have great value. I'm a big movie fan, and one of the things that I really despise doing is investing 2 hours in a crappy movie. So it really helps me if someone else will say, hey, here's the value that I got out of it. One of the things I talk with a buddy of mine about is on ratings is if a critic doesn't like it, I probably will. And I'm much more the guy that looks for the popcorn
Right.
rating than the tomato rating. I'd rather see
Yeah.
other people just like me who tell me why this is a valuable expenditure of money, a valuable expenditure of my attention and time than some professional rater. And so it's really showing others when you're rating things and giving a good honest rating, a thumbs up, is showing them that you found value in it, and maybe they will too, and letting them know why you found value in it. For instance, those of you on here that host spaces, and I was talking with overall in the back channel that the 5 minute countdown gives us an opportunity to share out the live stream to different communities that we're a part of. But I recommend not just sharing it out, I recommend putting a blurb about why people should be interested. And so when you're
Mhm.
rating things, tell people why you're interested in that. What do you find? And Jeremy, yeah, Jeremy, thank you for being here. Value is an org size. One perspective. Yeah, it's one perspective. I think this is one of the things that Amazon has done really well is the whole ratings thing. One of my favorite ratings of all time, by the way, overall, is a rating about fiber. Psyllium is a type of fiber that's really, really good for your gut. And there's a guy that rated the fiber, this particular brand of psyllium, and it was absolutely hilarious. And so when you're rating things, you can actually get very creative. He said this fiber, a little bit of alert here. I don't mean to disgust anybody, but this is an adult space and you guys are adults. He said this fiber works so well that it'll raise your feet off the ground. And that creates a certain word picture, about going to the toilet and the fiber raising your feet off the ground. And so what did I do? I bought that product. So when you're rating things, tell people why you're excited about it. Let me give you one more example before I go back to a question from overall, is how you rate your children. Now, you might say, oh my gosh, you shouldn't rate your children. Now, wait a minute. You rate your children every day when you tell them what you think about them, when you tell them what you're proud of. My son called me to task on this. He said, Dad, you're always saying you're so proud of me. Why is that? Oh, my word. I had to put some thought into that. And so I elucidated, I did a bullet point list of the reason I'm proud because you work very hard at things. I'm proud of you because even though they don't come easy, you keep after it until you get the work done. So even when you're rating others by telling them what you think about them, tell them why you think it. And you can also be funny. I think humor is really great even when you're rating things. Jeremy, thank you so much. I appreciate your interaction there. That's my way of typing. Value is a perspective. Yeah, I completely agree. And guys, if you have questions for the expert here overall on ratings and comparisons and things like that, don't hesitate to put it in the live chat. I'll pop it up on screen. Sarah, my dear Sarah, thank you so much for reposting the stream today. Sherry, thank you very much. Sherry is listening at work. And she says she's glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too. My dear friend Richard is here. Richard, I appreciate you reposting the space also. And yeah, don't hesitate to ask some questions. But what are some other interesting things that you see people talking about on your ratings platform there overall? I know you did it for fun. I think it's fun too. It's a bit of a conversation. I like to ask people, what are your favorite movies and why that is? A friend of mine, Wise One Philosophy, on X claims, and he and I disagree on this, that the greatest movie of all time was the Val Kilmer Robert De Niro, Al Pacino movie Heat. He says it's the best movie of all time. Well, don't just tell me it's the best movie. Tell me why it's the best movie, and that's what I asked him. Why would you say that this is the best movie? And he was able to tell me. So, what are some interesting things that you're seeing people rate in your business overall? What do you think?
Can you believe that I never seen that movie?
Oh my goodness, Wiseman philosophy. His name is Tony. Tony would be beside himself. He would say, "You've never lived until you've seen the movie Heat," and I'm
All
sure he
right.
could speak for hours on it about why it's his favorite movie. I think after Val Kilmer passed away, he might have had to go to therapy or something
I put
because
it on my bucket list.
bucket list. There you go. Put on your bucket list. Yeah,
Um,
I think I think it's good to ask ourselves why do we like a thing. If you're going to rate something, 4 stars, 5 stars, for popcorns or tomatoes or whatever, why is that? Because I think that
well,
psychologically it helps you with your mindset. Go ahead, overall.
emotions like move the world. Um, when you say that you love something and you want to share it with the world, it's because these emotions elevates you. You know, that's art. That's what art is about. So also movies are a form of art, and if you got inspired by it, you got something inside because left a mark this movie right inside you, and that's because it's the creative process that made an impact on you, right?
Hmm.
So you understand how powerful emotions are,
Hmm.
and also the role of art, how important it is in this world.
It really is. It really is. I think I do think movies are art. It's not an Academy Award winner. It wouldn't get rated high, I think, by the critics. But I will engage in things and find high value and rate them highly because of how it connects me with someone that I love. So I remember going to see Planet of the Apes on the
Mhm.
IMAX in Branson, Missouri, and that's been 15 years ago, I think, whenever the movie came out. And my son and I still talk about that. So I think that sometimes we rate things highly because of how we can connect over it, like a restaurant. It's really interesting that people will actually rate a restaurant lower
Mhm.
if they and their date have a spat. Even if the food is great, the food can be great and the interaction poor, and the thing that we blame it on is the food or the restaurant or the service, when the thing really going on is me and my date had a spat or something like that. So I think another thing about the not just rating something, but asking yourself, why did I rate it that way? Again, really does help psychologically in so many ways. And so, what are some suggestions that you would have for people when they're rating things and thinking about their level of enjoyment about things, other than the emotions that come from their thoughts about those experiences? What do you think?
Yes, when you try to rate things, whatever the subject is, try to be on the other person's shoes first. Try to understand the effort that they did, they made in order to uh, bring forth that service, that art, whatever the thing that you are trying to rate. That helps you to have a more objective view on the topic, and to have a sort of empathy with the person that you are referring to. It's different. It's difficult when you're thinking about movie, but if you if you really love movies, for example, uh, you cannot not have a passion for acting, for example, right? Uh, if you really love movies, otherwise you're just a spectator, like occasional one. And so, if you understand what acting really means, what this sort of art really means, you try to appreciate much more um, this sort of performance that you are spectating. And you know, if you like cooking, you go to a restaurant. You try to understand the passion, the work behind that plate that has been offered to you first. You know, so you try to enter inside the mentality of the cook, inside the life, the passion, the talent of the person who present to you his work, and then you think about yourself, about how does that play taste, or how that movie makes you feel, and with all that in mind, you try to give an objective analysis, if it is possible. I don't think it is, but you know, at least you try your best in this way.
I
Yeah.
love that. I think that sometimes we leave out of the ratings of things the art in and of itself. Life imitates art, art imitates life. That we can look at somebody and realize how hard they worked at the product, and that maybe they deserve a rating. Yeah, truly an E for effort, as they say, for actually pouring their life into creating it. I've actually seen chefs. I remember being at a fancy place out in North Dakota at some retreat or something, and the chef would actually come out and stand over you, waiting for you to take your first bite. He wanted to witness your experience of that first bite and give him some feedback. Is the steak okay? Is the steak cooked to your preferences, requirements, or whatever? And so I have a question here about people receiving a rating, because we have a lot of influencers watching us. We have a lot of creators on X in particular.
Mhm.
We're live streaming through X, through Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube, and into the Mindset Masterclass. You guys come over, join Mindset Masterclass. We talk about issues like this at a deeper level. Just go to school.com. That's SKOOL.com /mindset. School.com /mindset. And so for these creators, cooks, actors, influencers, social media, graphics creators, AI creators, what advice might you have for them about how to receive a rating about their own work in a healthy way with a healthy mindset? What do you think?
Well, for example, I never give a rating below 80% because I use percentage, right? Percentage tells you uh, how much of that talent you are representing. Like 100% is the maximum. It's just an ideal number. I never give 100% or 99%. Never. It's just ridiculous because what if you find something better one day, right? You just give a space to a possibility that something ideal must exist in this world, right? Um, and so I just celebrate all that I find positive, everything that has value, basically, and I just ignore all the rest.
Hmm.
I never give a negative review or rating ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also because I don't like really to compare people because people are unique,
Mm-hmm.
Uh, maybe people are trying to convey a message and they are using the wrong art to doing that. That's can be a possibility. I mean, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that that's the case for some people or not.
Mm-hmm.
Can be. It can be the case. Some people are also pioneers of their own speciality, their own talents. They look around them and they don't find inspiration. So they say, well, I'm not good enough because, what I propose doesn't interest people, and therefore I must be like not talented.
Ah.
But that's not the case because some people maybe are just misunderstood,
Mm.
you know? That happened with pioneers. The Wright brothers, when they invented flight, when they invented the airplane, nobody understood them. It says, man flying? Such a ridiculous idea. I mean, it's not possible. Why people should fly, basically, they said. So the idea starts like this, with people misunderstood, people that have dreams and they try to convey a message, that they try to convey, I mean, to transform their talents through their art. How many artists we knew in the past, great artists, but they weren't understood at the time that they presented their own masterpieces. Like, no, no, I think about Van Gogh, but
Mm.
also the same Rembrandt.
Mm-hmm.
Rembrandt is one of the top, one of the best talented artists in history, and he died in poverty.
Mm.
I mean,
Well, yeah, there's the quote, an idea whose time has come. So you can have a great idea, but the
yes.
populace is simply not ready for that idea. I think we're there with SpaceX. Decades and decades ago, the people just seem to not be ready for the idea. And so just
Mhm.
because people aren't ready for it, just because the soil is not fertile enough for the seed, doesn't mean that the seed is deficit or deficient. One of
Mhm.
my favorite philosophers, Immanuel Kant, wrote his magnum opus, and he would say it fell dead from the womb. I mean, no one picked up on it. But the reason for that is people didn't understand it.
Mhm.
So much of philosophy is that way, that philosophers sit around and they do their work, and if people don't understand it, or if they've not graduated to a level where it's comprehensible to them, then they're not going to find value in it. And so, just yeah, do the work, work your work, and maybe one day you'll have something where it's an idea whose time has come. And so,
Maybe posthumous,
say that again.
posthumous after death.
Yeah, posthumous. Yeah, a lot of famous people didn't get famous until after they've left the planet. And that
Unfortunately.
is because again, you do your work in private, and then eventually it may catch on, but that's going to be based not in sometimes the present community, but how much work you put into it in the present. It may be a future community, a future society that finds value. For all I know, some of the greatest works of philosophy won't get big until we're on the planet Mars or something. You know, some of the greatest dishes ever served may first be served on another planet. So keep on creating. Jeremy says we do our works as best we practice. So yeah, it's practicing and improving, practicing and iterating. Well, we're about out of time here, guys, but keep your
Great.
mindset healthy on your creation. When you rate yourself with kindness. Rate each other with kindness. Some people say, I think Jeremy said he never gives a 100%. Yeah, there's some people that they just don't rate at the extremes. I remember one of my favorite forensic psychology professors, Dr. Sandra McPherson, up in Ohio, which called my attention to that. If you give someone a Likert scale 1 to 5, usually it's 1 to 10, usually it's 1 to 5. But there are people that'll never give a 1. There are people that'll never give a 5. They just don't rate in the periphery. Um, and so when you do rate, have a reason to do that, and rate honestly, intentionally, with authenticity, considering the art in and of itself. You may not be a great consumer of that art, but it may still have value. So my dad would say, give credit where credit is due, and
Yeah.
start with yourself. When you look at yourself in the mirror, rate yourself with kindness. Overall, where can they find most of your work, most of what you do? How do they reach out to you?
Well, through X, I have a profile, overall WebX, and I have a website, overall dot website. You can find me on Facebook as well. I opened a page. What else? I have a YouTube channel called
Ah,
Imagopedia, but it's something completely unrelated. So if you
okay.
like, you can
Well,
go and check
hop
out.
on X if you're not already. We are a little bit X fanatics, but
Yeah.
great platform. No offense to the other platforms. We spend a lot of our time on X. Come over, join the Mindset Masterclass again. School.com/mindset. That's SKOOL.com/mindset. Overall, it is so wonderful to have you here today. Thank you
Thank
so much. I wish you the best. Join your community. Overall, has a community. Say just a bit about that community and the rules
you.
about it.
Yeah, as I said, I opened that community just for fun. So if people come and join it, just have fun with it. I mean, rate whatever you have in mind, whatever you see on X, on social network, because there is no limit really. You can do
And when
whatever
you're
you want.
rating pizza, remember pineapple pizza is the best. That always gets
Sure,
a
sure.
99, if not a 100 rating. Big fan of pineapple pizza. I know we have pineapple pizza doubters,
Uh,
but pay no attention to those folks. So thank you.
Doctor, as Italian, I agree.
Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you guys. We're going to be back in about 2.5 hours for Midday Mindset. That is 12 o'clock U.S. Central Standard Time. That's Memphis, Tennessee time. And so join us on there. That is a audio podcast, or space as we call it on X. Come and join us then. And this Saturday, at 12 o'clock, we have a new episode of the Exposium where we're making spaces, podcast on X, making spaces better places. And it is a speaker support, self esteem boosting, self confidence developing conversation. So join us Saturday for that. Have a great weekend, guys. We will catch you next time. Bye bye now.
Thank you. Bye.